Ramblin Man here. Today, I want to talk about California, I want to talk about New York, and I want to talk about Texas. So let's first talk about Texas. Texas has a strong tradition of people that love their state. They call it a whole nother country because it is. It's their own republic. It's their own way of life. There's nothing like it. There's not another state like the state of Texas. Yeah, you have some people that are proud of their state, but no one is as proud of their state as Texans. Let's be honest. That is the honest truth. And if you know anything, and you live in the United States, you know that's the truth. Now, I will tell you this, though. There are people that are coming here from all different states all around. Not just California and New York. But the problem is that some of the people that are coming... Well, let's talk about the good first. Some people from California that I've met are good people, and a lot of the Californians that are good people that come in Texas, they want to come to a red state. They want to be part of a red state. They're conservative and they're good people. The others, whether they're part of big tech or whatever the case is with, little California over there in Austin, Texas, that's what it is. It's very liberal. They come here and they expect to be able to change things. Well, here's what they don't take into account. In the state of Texas, there are farmers, ranchers, and all the people that grew up here since they were kids. And in order to change the state of Texas completely, you'd have to change that whole mentality. Well, here's what happens is that they get close. Sometimes they'll be like, they'll come in there and like, we're going to have all this state go blue. The problem runs into, you have enough of those farmers that like, I ain't voted in years because I ain't had to, but you know what? Now I'm going to. And that's the kind of mentality we have, is like, we won't be beat. We won't be put down. So you have all these things. Don't California my Texas, and don't New York my Texas. That's what I want to tell you. Don't try to come here and change things. It's not going to happen. So they have all these different things going on right now. And they're talking about COVID and how it's rampant all in the red states. Well, let's be honest. The highest three places are Florida, Texas, and California. California is by no means a red state. Now, you might say to yourself, like, is that accurate? Yeah, that's accurate. More hospitalizations in those three places because of all the COVID influx, right? Now, what they won't tell you is there's a lot of different things going around. If you've watched the news at all, you'll see that Biden recently talked about the border. I'm talking about today and yesterday, and reinstituting Title 42. That's the one that where Trump had put into place that anybody comes across, they expel them back. Expulsion. Boom. Put them back to Mexico. You come across, we catch you, throwing you back. Well, when he's talking about that, he goes, yeah, we're putting that back into place. Because why? Because they're getting their butts kicked when it comes to the border. Ain't nobody taking care of that problem. They don't really care about it, except for the fact that they're getting so much bad publicity and his ratings have dropped through the floor. Even places like CNN are saying at 48% approval rating with 44% disapproval. Or 46% disapproval. That's at CNN, okay? That's basically Democrat Central. Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about the fact that they're putting those numbers out and Biden's freaking out and the whole Democratic Party is freaking out. So, with that being said, what they're doing right now is they reinstituted Title 42, like I said, which is going to expel all the people back to Mexico. And when that does that, when the reporters are asking Biden about this, like, hey, so Mr. President, when it comes to expelling people back, does that mean you're going to be sending them back to Mexico? He didn't even address the question because he didn't want to say, yes, that's exactly what it means, because that's like eating crow for someone that did away with those policies. Now he's bringing them back. What happened is he says something to the effect of, we're not going to displace the children, the unaccompanied minors. Okay, that wasn't the question. So you totally deflect and everything and get away from that question. Well, let's talk about the COVID aspect of that. What they're seeing right now is even they've said it. If you look there, look online, look up Mission, Texas images. There's a bridge there that goes over. They have they are putting migrants, the immigrants, under this bridge. They're just between the columns, just tons of people, thousands, right? This is where they're checking them into, keep them out of the elements as far as out of the sun, and trying to, there's no place for them. And with the spread of COVID, they got to keep them outside and spread out more. Now, what happens is, so now that they have that happening, you have all those people there and the COVID is spreading, I want you to think about what I said earlier. You have Florida, Texas, and California. Now, California, because they're talking about, you know, the unvaccinated, but California has quite a few vaccinated, nowhere near 100%. We're talking about like 30 million people. I think Texas has 24 million people that are vaccinated. So that's a large amount, but why the big influx? Think about where we're at. We're on the border. So they talked about when all the migrants are coming over, they're releasing people left and right with corona. They're not saying, here, let's all get you all vaccinated. We're talking about hundreds of thousands of people coming in. Whoop, they're shipping them off. They were shipping them off to where? Florida. Here in Texas, and then some were migrating, but all these lower southern states. And with the border of California, you have all those guys coming across there. The border is an issue there. So if you want to know why, the real reason why it's jumping up so high with COVID in those 3 states, try an influx of immigrants. I also want you to think about, what do you have in Florida that's their biggest draw? People go there for vacation, and on top of that, they have Disney World. So you have people just packed in there. And that's like a incubator for that stuff. I think I had COVID back in March of 2020 because I came back from Disney World at the time. They just shut it down the day we left. They shut down Disney World for that time. And I came back, had a really bad head cold, like the flu, for like 4 or 5 days. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, but who knows? I haven't had any problems since then. But let's just think about those different things. They're talking about all this influx of people coming in, and then the rise in COVID cases. Why is it such a big thing over here with in Texas, Florida, California, a lot of the southern states? Because you have immigrants, illegals all over this area. Hundreds of thousands of them. 100,000 a month, at least. There's like 150, 160,000, but let's just say 100,000 a month. For the last 6 months, that's 600,000. So if you're doing 150,000, there's almost 1 million people have come across and just released among the rest of us with COVID or without, who knows, but a lot of them carrying COVID. So you can't tell me that has nothing to do with it. So I'm just watching a lot of different things today and just noticing that all these numbers jumping up and stuff, and then the higher influx, there's people up in Vermont, Connecticut, Massachusetts. Those are some other really high ones. And then but they only bring up the red states. They don't talk about those states. They talk about Arkansas, Louisiana, but those other ones are on the top of the list as well. So let's not forget about them. It's all a ruse as far as like when it comes down to making it look however they want to make it look on media. It's a problem everywhere. It's not just here. 1.5 million deaths from tuberculosis this last year. Since COVID has come into the world since March of 2020, so a year and 4 months, year and 5 months, there's 4.1 million deaths. And there were 10 million people that got tuberculosis. There were 193 million that got COVID worldwide. So it has less of a death rate, but nobody's freaking out about tuberculosis. They make you do a TB test, but other than that, though, what do they do? Your regular shots when you're a baby, when you're a kid? Guys, everything is only as bad as the media makes it to be. And you may have a loved one that has passed away from COVID, or you may have a loved one that passed away and they had COVID. Doesn't mean they died from COVID. It's just one of those things that, you know what, you take it with a grain of salt. You do what you feel is best for you and your family. But I'm telling you right now, we have an issue at the border. We have an issue with everything in this country. Because let's be honest, and if you can tell me where I'm wrong, please do so. But the Biden administration sucks. Even the Democrats are freaking out because they know Kamala's not the answer. Kamala's not the answer. She has the lowest rating in 51 years of any vice president. And Biden was hanging up there for a while, but now he's dropping like a rock. And they're just like, I don't know what we're going to do. We don't either, but I'll tell you one thing. Every time they ask me, what has Biden done for America? Well, he's helped keep a lot more red states red because there's a lot less of them moving to blue, because why would you want to put another one of those Democrats in there if that's what the best they can do? Y'all have a great day. Ramblin' Man out.